The Alleghany Journal has found Marla Akridge, the head of the Alleghany Highlands Economic Development Corporation, who has some really good news. The agency has been awarded a $600,000 EPA brownsfield grant. Marla, what is a brownsfield grant?
Everyone has started asking me that question. We've been at this grant process for about a year, and we were awarded it this Wednesday from the EPA. Brownfields means remediation of land or buildings. So in the Alleghany Highlands, for example, the old Parker Hannafin facilities or the Hercules facilities, as some of you all recognize it, or even the 7-Eleven here in Clifton Forge that you're aware of, might have a tank or underground work that needs done to remediate that soil for development. So the Highlands area has some really historic facilities that we want to redevelopment and infill for the blighted areas. And blighted areas in our words means old buildings that need some support and help. Lead-based paint is a great example too, or asbestos in a facility.
And this is a nationwide big program by EPA, isn't it?
Correct. It's very competitive. I believe there was 7 communities, municipalities in the state of Virginia that were rewarded this. And as I told my leadership this Wednesday, $600,000 sounds like a boatload of money, but when you start remediating a lot of soil, or if you have to remove coal or petroleum or oil that's been underground for decades, years, you can bleed through that money pretty quickly. We have preliminarily started looking at sites when we wrote this grant, but we have not identified specific locations. But our goal is to disperse the money throughout Iron Gate, Clifton Forge, Covington, and Alleghany County.
Marla, do you remember that movie where they were talking about money and Jimmy Stewart said, well, that's a lot of cash down here, bub, or something
Yes.
like that. $600,000 is still a boatload of change.
It is.
And it's an honor that your agency got one of the few awards in Virginia. So at some point, you'll go through an identification process.
That's correct.
What kind of a time frame overall do you think?
That's a good question, Jerry, because when we were announced that we were receiving this, you have that excitement and enthusiasm, and then the rubber meets the road and you think, okay, how do we implement this? And what's the timeline? What do we need to do on our end? We will get awarded the funding in October, but the work started this Thursday. We have already started looking at engineering firms that we will send out an RFP that will help us with the assessments of the locations and then also do the remediation process. And we are partnered with city, county, towns. So preliminarily we've talked to the elected officials and city manager, town manager, and had them start thinking about what's the low-hanging fruit or the area in their community that they would want this implemented in. So I always say after we receive a grant, have some excitement time, which will last about 5 hours, and then the rubber meets the road and we got to get hard down into the weeds, do the work, that sort of thing, and we're there. We've had 2 conversations with the EPA. We've talked to some consulting firms, engineering groups that help do the remediation for us. And also we're already thinking about the money fund, how it will be implemented in the region. The area will be assessed. We'll have community meetings actually. So we'll ask the community to come out and have some input from them. We've had some preliminary ones with our elected officials and key stakeholders, but we'll open it up to the whole community and the whole county, city, and town.
That sounds really cool. And for those of you who are acronym challenged, RFP means request for proposals. And I would imagine once people see this relatively small amount of money, $600,000, I have a feeling, Marla, you're going to get plenty of input.
I've already received 5 engineering firms throughout the state of Virginia and North Carolina that want to send a request.
Well, things are happening with the Economic Development Corporation. This is one of the lead individuals in the whole region promoting all kinds of things from entrepreneurship to fixing up things that were broken or, and challenged. And we very much appreciate you stopping by and sharing this information.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, supporters out there.